Hi, I'm Scotty with Blueprint Tuscaloosa, where our mission is to empower and equip students at the University of Alabama to become leaders who transform under-resourced communities right here in Tuscaloosa by investing in urban youth. Said another way, we want to take the campus to the under-resourced community. One of the programs that we have started to fulfill this mission is the Holt Elementary Mentorship Program. We started back in the fall 2017, and my goodness, did we have a blast. You get a chance to see in this video all the fun that we had, but more importantly, you'll get a chance to hear a little bit of the impact that our student athletes were able to have in each of these kids that we invested in. We started with the 4th grade, and we worked on just 5 specific areas of needed growth, being proactive versus reactive, leadership, goal setting, working well with others, and respecting others. As we mentored the kids in these areas, we saw some special things happen this year. Take a look.
Time of being an athlete, I've had like a surgery and a broken hand, so like, you just gotta keep pushing and just don't give up.
Building block, Tom.
Yeah!
Building block, Tom.
Yeah!
I want to put in 400,000 words towards our goal, and I want to complete my goal by December 19, 2017.
I learned that if I want to be a YouTuber, I need to set smaller goals to reach up to it.
Yeah! I said it's building block time. Yeah! I said it's building block time. Yeah! Let's get better together.
Hey Jamie, your new nickname? Big Fella.
Big fella.
So I know you're probably thinking, what would a day in the life of a student athlete going to Holt Elementary look like? I'm glad you asked. We would arrive around 11:30, and we would make the winding path to the classroom. And once we arrived in the classroom, we would be bombarded by the kids who were just happy to see us. After that, we would kind of do a time where we would share, each student athlete would share their name, their sport, what year they were in school, and where they're from, along with their favorite food or their favorite restaurant. And so after that, we will break up into small groups, the 5 groups that I mentioned earlier. We break up into those groups, and we would separate for about 30-40 minutes, and that would be our mentoring time. We would come back at the end and spend about 5 to 10 minutes allowing the kids to tell us what they learned that day. That's probably the most fun part of it all. And then after that, we would say our goodbyes, sometimes take a picture, and then we would come back and do it again the next day. About halfway through our program, Mr. Tortorese, one of our 4th grade teachers, pulled me aside and wanted to share with me a story of how our student athletes were investing in one of their kids that had the greatest need. Listen to his story.
Yeah, just the fact that you guys have talked to them about goals and got their mind focused on goals. A lot of my boys who normally wouldn't step up with reading have really been pushing themselves so that they can basically brag to you guys when you come. But one particular student comes to mind. She was reading about mid-2nd grade level when she came. She's bilingual, so she was having a little bit of trouble with English, but she set a goal with her very first meeting with her athletes, and after that she just started taking books home and coming back the next day. Mr. Tortorese, I read this book. Mr. Tortorese, I read that book. I made a 100, I made a 90. She was just killing it, and in my benchmark testing, she was a 2.7, which means she was reading on the 7th month of a 2nd grade level, and when I tested her the other day, she was 4th grade, 1st month. So she made over a year, almost a year and a half of growth in a month and a half, and it just took that spark. Everything, the pieces were in place for that child, but she needed to see that somebody, was invested in her, and that was enough to just get her to go out and push herself.
In Matthew 9:36-38, we see a great example of the disciples following Jesus to take the gospel to the lost. In this passage, we see they come upon a multitude of people. And Jesus says, as soon as he saw the multitude of people, it says he was full of compassion, because as he looked at the people, they were harassed and they were helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And so he turned to his disciples and says, listen, the harvest is plentiful, speaking of this great multitude of people. But he turns to them and says, but the laborers are few. And he told them, here's my challenge to you. Pray to the Lord of the harvest to send more laborers into the harvest. That's pretty gripping if you think about it. That's our challenge. And that's what we're asking you to do, is will you join us in praying that the Lord will send more laborers into the harvest and that he used Blueprint to be a part of him doing that. I say it